going to get started, everybody. We do have a couple seats in the front if someone still needs one. I think everyone's getting settled. Well, welcome, everyone. This is our first Saturday seminar. Is it anyone's first seminar with us? Got a couple new faces. Well, welcome. Thank you all for coming. We're at Cape Fear River Watch. We're a 501c3 nonprofit with a mission to improve the water quality of the Cape Fear River Basin. We do that through a couple different ways. We do education like this. We also go out and do outreach, community events. We do a lot of school education with school groups. And we also do action-based items. And that's not just actions that we do, that's actions that you get to do. So we do monthly litter cleanups. Our next one's actually next Saturday at Greenfield Lake. If you're interested in signing up for that, let me know. It's going to be on Valentine's Day. It's a good day to show some love to the Cape Fear by cleaning up some litter. We also do water quality monitoring. We have a couple of our volunteer creek watchers here with us today. They help monitor the creeks in the Cape Fear Basin, and we also do some water quality monitoring up in our drinking water supply. And then most people know us for our advocacy work, our Cape Fear River Keeper Kent Burdett. We go to court and represent you in court and let legislators and the state and the nation know what you're worried about, what's going on in the Cape Fear River, and why you're upset about it. So that's kind of our approach to our work here at Cape Fear River Watch. Our first Saturday seminar, as it implies, is on the first Saturday of each month. These are always free, they're always available to the public, and we always record them, so you can go back and watch them later. If you missed last month's, it was actually on the Fuquay-Varina IBT. It was a really good one to learn about what's going on with that, so feel free to check out our YouTube and watch that one. And then if you want to watch this one afterwards, you can go on our YouTube and check it out again. Couple announcements from us. Like I said, we have our litter cleanup next month, our first litter cleanup next Saturday. I'm still waking up, y'all. And that's going to be at Greenfield Lake. It's from 9 to 11. It's actually going to be a kayak-based cleanup, which will be really fun. Hopefully get all those nooks and crannies and those tributaries at Greenfield Lake and get all the litter. We're also going to be using our new John boat, which you can probably see through the window, which was donated by the Wilmington Rotary Club, so we're excited to use that. And hopefully get further into the river, the tributaries of the Greenfield Lake and get all that trash. Next, we will be starting our paddle series back up next month on March 20th. We'll be doing that for Cape Fear Creek Week. We're also going to be doing something else for Cape Fear Creek Week, but that's still in the works. We'll be doing the Black River. So keep an eye out for that. They're always a lot of fun, and Kemp's like the best guide that you could possibly have on the river. He knows every inch of it. So that'll be a lot of fun. Lastly, we're opening Greenfield Lake Boathouse back up on March 12th. So keep an eye out for that. We had a very inconsistent schedule last year, but we are back in business and ready to go. We'll have a cool grand reopening. It'll be a very tiny grand reopening, but we'll have some educational activities and a free eco tour and stuff like that. So feel free to come out on March 12th from 1 to 3 will be the events, but the boathouse will be open 12 to 5. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce our speaker. We have Madelyn Wampler. She's with the Hanover County government. She's their very first sustainability manager, which is really cool. And she's going to tell you about their recently completed sustainability assessment and what that looks like.
Well, thank you so much for having me. We have a full house this morning, which is amazing. And I know some of you have heard bits and pieces of this presentation. Thanks for coming again. Hopefully you'll get a little bit more out of it. And for those of you that haven't heard this presentation or that I haven't met, please come and talk to me after. Introduce yourself. A big part of my role is engaging with the community and learning from you all. So thank you so much for being here. As Morgan said, I'm Madelyn Wampler. I'm the Sustainability Manager for New Hanover County. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Pensacola, Florida, but all my family and relatives are from Durham, North Carolina. So this state means a lot to me, and I spent a lot of summers on the coast here. I went to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and studied environmental science with an art history minor as well. And after undergrad, I ventured off to California, where I studied or received my master's in biological sciences at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. and did spend some time in California after graduating, mostly venturing in the local government world. I spent a lot of time with the Port of San Diego, working with their Blue Economy Incubator program and a lot of their environmental programming, but ultimately decided to move back to the East Coast, where I feel most at home and closer to family. And that's what brought me here today and here to talk to y'all. Ooh, I just shocked myself. That was so just for everyone's awareness of how my position is structured at the county, that's interesting. It's like it has a shadow of the previous slide. But the first thing I want to point out is that y'all are at the top of this org structure. We, and everything that we do at the county, relies on, or we make sure that we are doing the best for our citizens and that we're hearing your concerns and support along the way. So we ultimately, want to make sure that everything that we're doing is in alignment with what the citizens would like to see. My position is structured in the county manager's office. So I report to Assistant County Manager Jessica Loper, who reports to our county manager, Chris Coudray. And it's really great to have this positioning at the county because I have access to leadership at the county and I participate in a lot of higher up discussions, and sometimes the sustainability manager is not always placed in a position like this. So very fortunate that the county had the foresight to have this structure, and so far it's been working out really nicely. And as Morgan mentioned, this is the county's first sustainability manager position, structured this way, and it's been really great to be able to have the creativity to be able to make the position as I would like it to be. And I'm located in the Government Center, which is on 320 Government Center Drive, I believe is the address. If you haven't been there, it's a beautiful building. I'd love to meet you all down in the lobby if you ever have anything to talk to me about. So in a nutshell, really broadly, my main role as sustainability manager is to make sure that we are seeing through the vision and goals that we've outlined in our 2024-2028 strategic plan. This plan is a 2-page plan. It's very simple and it's county-wide, but it has a lot of really great sustainability nuggets embedded within that plan, even before I started in this role. We have things like reduce carbon footprint at our facilities and fleet. We have goals surrounding natural areas to make sure that they're enhanced and protected. So big picture, my duty as a staff member is to see these goals through. And beyond that, or even broader, our vision statement for the county is a vibrant, prosperous, diverse coastal community committed to building a sustainable future for generations to come. And our leaders, when they created this vision statement back in, I want to say 2022, 23, we had just gone through COVID-19 and Florence and a really rapid growing community. And I think it was one of the first times that our leaders at the county really took a minute to wonder, okay, what is our true vision for the county? And it's really great that they decided to embed sustainability within that vision. So ultimately, my role is helping us and the community see this vision come to life. So I started in this role in October 2024, I think. Time's flying by. I won't dwell too much, but I just wanted to share sort of what I've been up to the past year and a couple of months. What I'll be focusing on today is the sustainability assessment, which was a 120-day assessment of sustainability at the New Hanover County operations. I've also applied to and received it's a grant program through the state called the Resilient Coastal Communities Program. We received phases 1 and 2 of that program, and we'll be conducting a resilience strategy for the Upper Smith Creek watershed. And we have Dawn here from Moffett & Nickel. Where are you, Dawn? I just saw you. There you go. Dawn is helping us with, or she's our contractor for that program, which has been amazing. I'm heavily focused on Western Bank conservation. I know a lot of folks in the room here have a lot of questions and concerns about that, so happy to answer any questions you have on our progress on that. I also sit on the technical review committee for all of the development plans that come through, and try to share those out with the community as best I can if I see something that I think the environmental community here would want to be aware of. And lastly, I've been doing a lot of networking, joining different memberships, and of course engaging with the community. So diving into the sustainability assessment itself, really the purpose of this assessment was to hold up the mirror and take a look at what the county has achieved so far for sustainability, even prior to having a true sustainability program or manager. So recognizing past and current efforts, identifying any shared priorities we have amongst the organization, and then developing a suite of recommendations and next steps given that information. So sort of at a glance, again, this was about a 120-day assessment, although I easily could have kept going and going. But at some point, you have to sort of stop and take a break and press pause. So through this effort, I had over 65 hours of listening and conversations with both internally with staff members and the public as well. Over 35 department meetings, and through all of that listening and learning, I identified over 150 recently completed or active sustainability initiatives that the county's has underway. And if you have taken a look at the assessment online, you can also scan the QR code. That list of those 150 initiatives are at the back of that assessment. So I was really pleased to see how much the county's already been doing, but hasn't really been communicating that out with the general public. And I think a big lesson from that is, and that I'll take, and a big priority of mine is making sure that I'm communicating that out to you all so that you're aware of what we are working on, where we can improve, and where we can move forward. So the assessment itself is structured into two parts. The first is a comparative landscape, where we compare ourselves to peer counties across the state. And then part two is sort of focus area findings and opportunities. And then from that, we have some immediate next steps and recommendations. So for the first part, again, how the county compares to peer counties in the state. This is a very high-level overview of a lot of information and learning that I did amongst our peers, but I essentially looked at, what was it, seven peer counties across the state, and also our sister county. I don't know if y'all are aware, the county has a sister county in Chatham, Georgia, and we do a lot of learning from each other, and we meet at least once a year. And that county has a really great, what they call, give me one second. The greenest county in the state of Georgia kind of sustainability plan. And this is definitely something I'll be looking towards, given that we have a lot of shared, similar geographies, similar growing population, and given that we are a sister county, I have a lot more flexibility with being able to learn from someone outside of the state versus someone in Florida, or someone that's not a sister county, if that makes sense. But ultimately, through this peer comparison, what I found is from our peers is that they typically have formal sustainability policies, they have clear goals and targets, and most of them have advisory boards. And for the New Hanover County, we have a really strong foundation. We do have really unique coastal leadership. We are surrounded by three major water bodies. We have a lot of unique coastal challenges here that our leaders throughout time have had to adapt to, and that's something that you can see within our community. And I think that's something that is really special about this community that we should focus on and leverage moving forward. But we have fewer formal policies, targets, and tracking than our peers, and we currently don't have a formal, sustainability or environmental advisory board. So that was something that I saw was a clear distinction between us and our peers. So I think looking forward, One opportunity would be to adopt best practices from peers that make sense for our coastal context, such as more formally defining our sustainability identity, communicating out our work, and aligning our goals with the state sustainability goals as well. So for part 2, again, this is the sort of focus area findings and opportunities. So for this assessment, I broke up sustainability at the county into 5 major buckets, and I'll be going through these different buckets here in just a minute to sort of explain, what I found in my conversations with staff and some highlights from those conversations, and also some recommendations moving forward. So for the first bucket, land use and environmental stewardship, so this is making sure we're protecting our natural resources while also supporting growth. What I found that's working really well is that we actually have a really strong legacy of local conservation requirements. I learned back in the 80s that New Hanover County was actually recognized for our Unified Development Ordinance conservation resources requirements. And although that was, that's fantastic, that was from the 80s, perhaps now it's time to update those. So it's, I found all these little nuggets of like, wow, this is really great. We had a lot of foresight and we did a lot of really great work back 10, 20, 30 years ago. Now I think it's time to revisit those and brush the cobwebs off of them. And then some other strengths in this department. So cross-departmental collaboration. I found at the county, from all the jobs I've worked in local government, I have not seen, or the county has excelled in terms of cross-departmental collaboration. I'm constantly in meetings with a variety of departments, and we're all doing a really good job of collaborating and making sure we're moving things forward, and that's not always the case everywhere, so that's just something that I think really shines, especially in this space. And then our, the local organizations and nonprofits in this space and our partnerships with them as well has really shined through in my analysis of this space. So I think moving forward, again, this is super high level snapshot, but some recommendations are to clarify, we have a tree fund that we collect from developers that come and decide to pay to the fund instead of preserving trees on their properties. So we're trying to have a more formal process for using those funds to plant trees in our community. So I'll be working on that document. And then continue to maintain our regional environmental partnerships. One thing I want to do better is we have, as you all know, a comprehensive plan, and in that plan we have many sustainability related initiatives, but one thing that I think we could improve on is actually tracking our progress on those initiatives over time. So that's something I'll be working on with our planning director to sort of have not necessarily like an annual report, but just an annual check-in with our department, with our planning department on sustainability related items, excuse me, in our comprehensive plan. And then, as I mentioned earlier, advancing West Bank conservation. That's not only a priority for our community, but for our commissioners as well. The next bucket is community safety and well-being. So, essentially these are what I would consider public services that help promote the wellness and well-being and health and safety of our residents. And what's working really well is that we have, even though we have a lot of separate wellness services across the 29 departments of the county, they do a really good job of communicating with each other and integrating those services amongst themselves to make sure that we're providing the best service we can to our residents. And I would say, one recommendation I have is that we have all these amazing services, but we don't have a good mapping tool to have a one-stop shop for our residents to be able to open a map and see all the resources that are available to them in one place. Right now they're scattered across many different documents or different maps. So that's one recommendation that I have. But I think, you know, we have a lot of great programs with, I'll get into this in a little bit, but with our cooperative extension, with our Master Gardener program, and all of the amazing volunteer work that they do to make sure that our residents are out in nature, and I know y'all all help support that work as well. The next topic, governance and coordination. So this is basically looking inward at how are we taking care of our staff, how are we adopting or implementing policies that drive sustainability forward, and how do we make sure that our staff know what sustainability is, and maybe we can have a green team. I know back many years ago there used to be a green team. Well, what happened with that? What can we learn from prior green initiatives at the county, at the staff level, and how can we maybe reinvigorate that drive? One thing that was really interesting when I did I interviewed every single department at the county, and one of the main questions I got in almost every single meeting was, what is sustainability? Like, what does that mean? And what does that mean to county staff? So that was definitely eye-opening, and something that I made sure that we addressed by creating a definition of sustainability for the county. So I would say what's working is that I think it's really great that even prior to my position, the county has embedded sustainability within its strategic plan, within its comprehensive plan. There's a sustainability utility policy for making sure that our buildings, the temperature control is at a reasonable rate, and staff aren't allowed to use space heaters and that kind of stuff. So I think it's good that we have this foundation, but again, it's more so about keeping that momentum going. Don't let these plans just sit on a shelf and collect dust, and that'll be a big focus of mine. One thing I want to do moving forward is launch a sustainability working group amongst county staff members. So we'll have sort of like a roundtable with different department heads that are either interested in sustainability or I partner with regularly, and we'll meet to discuss implementing sustainability and making sure we're achieving that vision statement that I shared with you earlier. A big thing that not only myself but our commissioners are interested in as well is developing a definition of sustainability. Since generating this presentation, we've actually completed that definition, and you can find it on our website as well. So already checking some boxes off the list for this assessment, which is great. And then, as I mentioned, we have a utility and sustainability policy for county facilities, but we haven't looked at it in many years. So it's time to revisit that and see, did we do the things we said we were going to do in that policy? And if not, should we continue to have that in the policy? And is there anything that we're doing really well that we can maybe do even better moving forward? So speaking of operations and facilities, so obviously with sustainability, this is a huge component of our work, and I've been really pleased to work with our facilities director and learn that she's already been tracking energy usage through, it's called Brightly Energy Manager program, where we're monitoring not all county facilities, but a big portion in all of our major facilities to make sure that we're monitoring for energy efficiency, energy usage, and I'll be working with her on any ways that we can add more facilities to that portfolio. One thing we've done really well recently since prior to my position was focusing on purpose-built facilities. The county historically has had a lot of buildings that are repurposed, such as the old The old downtown library that's no longer our library was what, JCPenney or some department. Belks, yeah. And similarly, we have other buildings that weren't really meant to be a library or, judicial center or whatnot. So we're really focusing on purpose-built facilities that have a more efficient design and are more comfortable for our staff. And then I think moving forward, what I would love to see is, for all of these capital improvement projects, a sustainability-related checklist where staff, when they're voting on and making budget decisions surrounding these projects, are able to be reminded of all of the sustainability and environmental goals in our strategic plan when they're going through that decision making. So if we do want to build a new senior resources center in the northern part of the county, what does that look like? What land is that going to require? What services is that going to provide? And the cost benefit of having to have more land and cut down trees for a center that may be very much needed in a community, an aging community up there. So just something to think about. I know some of our peer counties in the state do have some sort of like green checklist for these projects, and I think that's something that would really benefit us here in the county. And then lastly, a few departments, when I did my meet and greets, were really interested in being able to compost at their departments because we're spread all across the county. We're not just at the government center. For example, our Board of Elections and some of our downtown facilities were really interested in composting. So if I see that drive and motivation with staff, I want to really latch onto that and work with them to see what we can do to make sure that they're able to really achieve the sustainability vision that they have as a staff member. And then for resilience, so this is a huge bucket that the county has a lot of different initiatives and priorities in. So when I'm talking about resilience here, I'm talking about resilience to natural hazards, flooding, even extreme heat. And what's working really well is we have a lot of flood mitigation programming. Our planning staff just, if you have not heard, they completed a flood mapping study where they filled the gaps that the NOAA flood maps did not have, and we were able to identify some areas of the county that were able to sort of serve as advisory flood mapping, which is really great. And our emergency services with their hazard preparedness and infrastructure upgrades have been really exceptional. I think moving forward, because we have so many programming and initiatives within this resilient space, having some sort of coordination group to make sure that we are aligning on funding and priorities and communicating with each other would be really important. And then, as everyone in this room probably has a passion for, really making sure that when we're deciding on infrastructure upgrades that we're looking into nature-based solutions. So that'll be a priority of mine, not only with the Resilient Coastal Communities program that I'm working on, but when I'm engaging with engineering staff on their list of 160 upgrades that they have at the county, talking with them about, okay, how can we do this with nature in mind? So looking ahead, at the sort of, one of the appendix of the assessment is a list of recommendations. It's a very long table, and how I've structured it is sort of based on departments involved and sort of time frame and then focus area. And sort of where I see us now is we're still building the foundation of sustainability at New Hanover County. Yes, we have done so much work already, but we haven't really held up the mirror and done this exercise before of assessing sustainability at the county formally. So now that we've sort of have that foundation, we can move into the action stage. So I've listed here on this slide some examples of short-term and medium-term priority recommendations. These are some of my favorites that I'm hoping to see that the county works towards moving forward. So, for example, I've already talked about the definition. We've checked that off the list. I've talked about sustainability communications, so improving our website, tracking who's reading our website, and speaking engagements like this are going to be really helpful. And is there anything on here that I haven't talked about? So again, Western Bank Conservation. Those are all short-term, low-hanging fruit recommendations that I see moving forward. Something I don't have in this presentation that has come about recently is I'm going to actually be taking on the New Hanover County water quality monitoring program that was currently being led by our planning department. So I know water quality means a lot to the Cape Fear River Watch, so I'm looking forward to partnering with you all on that as I start to take that on over the next year. And then for medium-term priorities, as I mentioned, we have a lot of old conservation tools and maps that were wonderful at the time that are outdated. I really want to see and partner with our planning staff and others to update those tools to make sure that they make sense for our county now and its current status. For tree canopy and green space goals, I know with the comprehensive plan update that's underway right now, we do have some tree canopy goals outlined there. So that was really great to see, but there's so much more we can do, and I plan on engaging with planning staff to further define those goals. Also, our Parks and Gardens department is going to be embarking on their 10-year master plan update next year, very likely. So obviously that's a huge connection point with them to try to engage involve more green space goals through that master planning process. And then for this last bullet here on the medium-term list, strengthen waste diversion and landfill capacity planning. I'm sure many of you have heard that our landfill capacity is very strained, and we have a short amount of time left before our landfill is going to be full. So a big push that our commissioners and myself as the sustainability manager will have is to make sure that we are doing what we can to expand that life as much as possible. So that'll include, engaging residents, seeking more waste diversion strategies, and more to come on that, hopefully, in the future. So I'll just wrap up by saying, and I know some of you have seen this slide, but y'all are my eyes and ears in the community. I cannot do this work without you all. So please, please, please continue to share any concerns, questions, good or bad things that you see in the community with me. I have my cards here up front, so you're welcome to call me, email me anytime. That helps me be effective in my role. I'm sort of the glue that brings together a lot of different initiatives and departments and staff amongst the county. I'm not necessarily a specialist. I just help get people to where they need to be and help projects move forward. So please reach out to me. Stay informed like you are today. Really appreciate you sharing your Saturday morning with me. I know many of you have found a way to get on listservs with the planning board items and TRC items, which is great. Just monitoring the county website and social media is really helpful, and I try to do the same as well. If I see something, I'll share it with folks that I can. And really ask yourselves, when our county commissioners are deciding about things, how will this decision help improve our community or our water quality or whatever mission that y'all are working towards. And sort of to wrap up, I'd love to hear from y'all during the Q&A. How can I help you, and not only as residents, but also as members and volunteers with Riverwatch? How can I help you with your mission to improve the environment and improve the river? So with that, whirlwind, I'll take any questions.